What's up, Glue Dots? Today I have 3 little projects for you, all inspired from different things. One of them is a Pinterest-inspired DIY because I needed a gift for my niece's birthday. I wanted to give her money, but I didn't want to just stick it in an envelope and be boring. So I came up with, between Pinterest and a little of my own stuff, came up with a fun DIY that I'm going to show you. Another one was to solve a problem of my cookbooks that kept falling over. And the other one, just thought I'd do a spring DIY for you. So let's get right on into them and see what I've got. So what I did to start is I took this salsa jar. This is actually from Trader Joe's and it's really good salsa. So we have these jars around all the time. And I took off the label by soaking it in hot water. And then, you know, it has the little expiration date thing. I don't know if that shows, but it has that. And I didn't know if I could get that off or not. I tried alcohol, it didn't work. So I simply used a straight edge razor and scraped until I got that little expiration date off of there. My next thing is a toilet paper roll. So what I'm going to be doing first of all, before I get to the toilet paper roll and the jar, I have our lid here and I want to somehow cover this. I've washed it, but I do want to cover it. So I think what I'm going to do is spray paint it because it's got all this refrigerate after opening stuff and all that. If you don't want to spray paint it, you can always put on some kind of decorative paper on top and then cover the side with ribbon, which in fact, I think I'm going to do that because everybody knows how to spray paint something, but I'll try something different just to show you an idea. So let me grab some ribbon and some paper and I'll be right back. Okay, I found this cute paper, just called my sister, found out that my niece's colors in her room are in the pinks, kind of blush color and gray. So what I'm going to do is actually go probably for this part over here that has sort of those colors in it. And I'm going to be tracing out my lid here, right about probably there, I guess. And then I'm just going to cut out my circle a little bit inside from where the circle is that I traced because I think it's going to be a little too big if I actually go on my circle. Pretty good. Just going to get that glued down, and I'm going to use hot glue just because I'm in a bit of a hurry. We're supposed to be at their house fairly soon and I'm still trying to get some other stuff done. So now the ideal ribbon to use is something that is this width, but I really like this color and I didn't have it in this width. So, well, I didn't actually look. So I lied. But I'm going to measure out a piece to go all the way around plus just a little extra. And then I'm going to just trim that down to the width of the side of my lid here, which, I don't know, I'm going to wing it. It's a little less than half. So let's hopefully see if I can do this in a straight line. But if I can't, I'm pretty sure she's not going to be measuring. And then I'm just going to get that glued on as well. Pretty easy project. You know, when you're in a hurry, you got to find the easy projects to make quickly. I'm just putting the glue in a couple spots so that it doesn't slide down, but of course on that metal you got to work really fast because that hot glue cools off immediately. Okay, that looks a little better than that. What do you say? For my jar, I'm actually not going to be doing anything because we want to be able to see through all the sides of it. If you'd like to, you can always make a little sign with the person's name. We'll play it by ear and see if I do that. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is cover my toilet paper roll here, probably with some of the matching paper since I've already cut it. So I'm going to just cut a piece to match. This is not going to show at all, so it's really not a critical point in it. I'm just going to make some measurements here to go all the way around so that I can cut this piece to the right length and width. And again, I'm going to leave a little overlap. So what I did is wrapped it around. I'm going to see where the other piece ends and then leave a little mark here of overlap so I know where to cut it. I like to use my square just because I don't know, it makes it easier to get a straight line that way, and I am not always the greatest with measuring stuff out, so this is my little cheat. And then I'll just cut out that piece. And now all I'm going to do is just glue this around to cover my little roll here. Make sure you glue it on straight, otherwise you have to pull it off like I just had to do. So what's best to do is kind of get it on in place around there first, so you can make sure that it's not going cockeyed on you. And then once you have it in place, then throw some glue on there, because I thought I was being all good and straight, and I certainly was not. And now we have this piece ready to go as well. Now what I did is took a piece of tissue paper that is, this is a birthday one, which is perfect, and I cut it just a little bit wider than the width of my toilet paper roll, and in here I'm going to actually stash the cash. This is going to be her little birthday surprise in here, so I'm going to kind of roll that up, and I'm going to be putting it right inside that toilet paper roll. So there's a couple ways you can do this. If you would like to, you can fold it, which I think I'm going to fold the bottom part up, and then the top I'm going to make it like a little, what do you call it? You know, tie it off like a little candy. I'll be tying it off just like that. And just to make it a little more fun, I'm gonna just kind of cut these to make it a little confetti-like. There, that makes it just a little cuter, add a little bit of personality. Because I have this ribbon here left, I'm just gonna cut a thin piece of this and use that, trying to use up whatever I have around me. Because again, trying to hurry here. And then a little trick for bow tying, in case you did not know. So you do your initial tie, and you can see that one is above the other. So we're going to make our little loop however you do it. The one, if this is below, you would wrap from underneath, and if it's above, you wrap from above, kind of going around. And then this way, your little bow comes out perfect every time, and it doesn't lay crooked. Hopefully you were able to kind of see what I meant by that, or what I did. But you see that the bow lays really nicely that way. I'm just gonna cut my little ends there. Do this. I'm gonna be taking this and putting a little hot glue at the bottom and centering it right into the bottom of my jar, just so that it doesn't move much or shift when I'm trying to put in the coins later. So go in there, center it as best you can, because you want to be able to put your coins around the edge. So now that I have this glued in here, what I'm going to do is fish through my husband's change. This is a lot of money. You know, change really adds up. So I'm going to pretty much hunt for the pennies. And so she's thinking she's getting a jar full of pennies and maybe nickels. And then I'm going to separate those out. I'll be right back. Well, I'm right back. It may take me a little bit, but I'll be back. Oof. Okay, so I left my husband penniless, literally. I'm going to take and dump all of these pennies around and fill up the sides of the jar. Not on the inside though, so you're going to have to be a little bit careful so that you can leave your space for your real money. Now, I saw this on Pinterest, and usually people put candy, but I don't know. I don't do candy, and I didn't want my niece to do candy either. So I figure money is even better, right? And she is such a prankster. She loves jokes, and so I thought this would be kind of fun. Also, you could put nuts or something like that as well, depending on who you're giving the gift to. So I'm going to continue filling this up. I know it's a bit noisy, so I won't put you through that, but I'll be right back. Okay, I'm getting to the last of them, so I'm kind of looking around from the outside and making sure there's no spots that show, and I'm shoving in an extra penny here and there and spreading them out so no paper shows from our toilet paper roll cover. Awesome. So here we go. It looks like this is totally full of pennies. We're going to take and stash our cash in there and flatten these little guys out a bit and get that lid on there. Now, if you want to embellish it further, you can throw on a little bow, or as I said, or you can put on some of those cute little tags from Dollar Tree that have that you can write on with chalk paint and put whatever your little message will be or their name. So I'm going to finish this up, play with it a little bit, and I'll show you it. What a great little project for in a hurry, a cute way to give cash to somebody without it being just boring old open the card and getting the cash. This next project is a super quick one as well because my cookbooks keep tipping over, and I'm right now have them propped up with my olive oil, and it keeps tipping over my olive oil bottles and my husband's getting annoyed. So I bought this bookend from Daiso for $1.50, and I purposely bought one that's really plain. Just, I don't know, I didn't realize I was gonna cover it, but then I found these super cool tiles. They're metal tiles and they're little squares, and I really love them. They have kind of a scrapey finish on them, and these were $1.50 for, looks like 8 tiles. So I bought all the packs I could find. And then I also found these little tile stickers and loved the colors. So these were also $1.50 each. So Daiso, in case you don't know, is like a dollar store, but everything's $1.50 unless if it's not marked. If it's otherwise marked, then it's more expensive, but it's super, super cool in there. So if you can ever get to one, go for it. So simply what I'm going to do, I think, is just put these tile stickers onto my bookend here. Now it looks like I won't be able to fit all 8 of them on there because they're longer than the tile thing here, the bookend. So I'm going to be taking off 2 from the bottom and just putting 6 on there. It also looks like I'll have room to put these square tiles at the top and bottom, but I don't know if I'm gonna have enough room for the sides. So I'm gonna have to figure all that out. I am winging this as I go, guys, so you are playing along with me. Another option may be to split these up and put the strips in between. Not sure yet what I want to do. So let me figure that out and we'll get back to you here. While I'm trying to figure out some different options, I'm going to cut this into some narrower strips so that I can kind of play with it a little and see what things might look good. I'm tossing around also the idea of putting 2 of the metal tiles and then 1 strip and then 2 metal tiles and 1 strip. So let's see. If I cut these, I can at least see, kind of position them and see what that might look like. Don't you just love the colors of this? Ooh, so pretty. And they'll be perfect with the decor in my kitchen. Because these are a little too wide for the full square to show here on the sides, once I put these tiles into place, I'm gonna have to cut these so they're not a full square. They're gonna look kind of like they're going under this, but one step at a time. I'm getting ahead of myself. So you'll notice that these tiles have the little scratchy marks on them. So this one, for some reason, is going in this direction, but I really like the way they're sort of alternated. So I'm gonna cut these into separate squares. I'm going to kind of alternate them from one going up and down and one vertical, one horizontal. Put it that way. Overthinking things. So I'm going to start with that one. Peel off the backing and just put it all the way down here to the edge and center it as best I possibly can. I don't think that's centered, but close enough. Anyone that comes in my kitchen and measures it can get out. All right, now I'm going to be alternating these so that we can really see that the difference. Now on here, from what I can see in the camera, it looks like these are different colors. It's just the direction of the scratches though. So I'm going to continue on. Oh, almost forgot. I want to put my little strip in between here. So I'm only going to I'm going to cut off one of the pieces here because I am going to be putting those sides on here. So I'm going to cut it as close as I can and just stick that right on there centered with my metal tiles. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my next tile piece on there, and again it's going to be going opposite direction of this one, and I'll keep continuing that pattern. Looking pretty nifty so far, but I do want to add those pieces here on the sides. So note that what I should have done, because now this is one square short and I'm going to have to use one of my squares that I cut off from the side, is next time just cut first over there so you have these long strips, but it's okay. We'll make it work. So I'm going to cut my full strip all the way down first, and then I'll measure it and see how much narrower I need to make it to get it to fit. I'm just going to turn it upside down and mark it. I can actually maybe even score it. Let's try this. Mark it with my X-Acto knife, just leaving a little scratch mark on it so I can see where I will need to cut it. All right, so I'm going to go straight down the line here and give it a cut. Stick that on there, and then I'll have to measure and cut one of my little squares here to put into place. And this one I'm going to kind of contour to that curve. So again, I'm just going to put that into place and score it with my X-Acto knife. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut myself because I'm not pressing real hard. I'm just pressing hard enough to make the line mark on here so I know where to cut. Not enough to cut through it though. And these are pretty thick, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Looking pretty cool. I'm going to get this other side put on. So here's how it looks so far, and I decided, just because, you know, I'm not quite there yet, I decided to cut some of these strips into individual squares, and I'm going to be placing the squares on the centers of each of the metal tiles. So one on each of those. I think that is the finishing touch for me. I'll show it to you in my kitchen, but I really love the way it turned out, and for what, $4.50. Can't beat that. Did you give me a thumbs up yet? What about subscribe? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our Glued Out family. For this project, I'm going to use one of these little metal welcome rings. The bunny's optional. I'm going to put it on there, even though I think it's still springy. Bunnies don't have to just be for Easter. And some twine and these burlap flowers from Dollar Tree. They come in a package of 4 of each color. So I actually bought 3 packages, and I'm just going to use 2 of each of those. And what I did do, I don't know, you may or may not notice, but I didn't like all of the spaces between the letters. So I used pliers and I squeezed them together, like on the W and the C and then on the M. You don't have to do that, but it was, I don't know, it was just bugging me, so I did it. We're gonna be starting out using some of our twine here and our hot glue, and I'm gonna be starting here at the top, just below the hanging hook, because we do want that to still be available for us. So starting out, we're just gonna be wrapping. I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to get it started, to stick that twine down. And same on the other side. This is just something I learned, trial and error. Anytime you're wrapping something around, whether it's, I don't know, anything, it's always better if you're going to continue wrapping to start from the small part going down instead of starting from the big part going up, because you can just keep winding more quickly this way and it hooks on the level prior to it, but the other way around it doesn't, so it's kind of a pain. And sorry, because somebody continues to text me here and it keeps dinging. I should have known. It's my sister. She texts in segments. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of my glue on there, and you do need to work fast because, again, with the metal, things cool off so fast. So another cool trick, if you have one of the heat guns, these kind of heat guns, these are great because you can heat up the metal and not worry about your hot glue drying too quickly, or I should say not drying, but solidifying too quickly. So I'm just continuing to add my glue, a little bit on the front, a little bit on the back, and wrapping around. Now, the other thing is you don't want to necessarily pull it like upwards to the other piece, because otherwise it ends up sliding up and bunching. So I'm just making sure to keep it straight and not like up and up. I hope that makes sense, but if you make this project, you'll see exactly what I mean. So now as I'm getting to the point, obviously I don't want to cover the words, but I am getting to the point where I'm going to want to end this. I'm just going to cut this and finish it off right there at the edge. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing starting on this end. It may be a little more challenging because we don't have that hook to sort of start under, but we'll make it work. The key with this is just to make sure that you're actually starting in, parallel, and you're not going crooked, unless you want to go crooked to your words, which I'm trying to go parallel to my wording. So this is the part I'm saying is a tad bit tricky, in that you want to kind of direct it so that it doesn't just keep rolling up to that top part again. And it's going to get better and better the further we go down. So you can see I do have a little bit of metal spacing showing in between that so that I can keep my lines straight, but it's okay. It won't show really that much. Once we get our other little goodies on there, people will be so enamored with the flowers and the bunny, they won't even notice the space. Another great use for that heat gun is to get all the little strings later, the hot glue strings, because trying to work quickly, you do get a few of those strings. So here's how it's looking so far, but it does have a lot of those fuzzies that you get from the twine. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people, they just use these little lighters and go over it. Now, I was really freaked out by this at one point, but I realized that it doesn't burn it. These go out so fast. It does give like a nice little weathered effect to it. So if you don't like that, then you won't want to do this, but it is kind of nice to get all the little fuzzies gone. Probably should be doing this outside, but smells like a campfire in my office now. If the smoke alarm goes off in here, you'll know why. Now comes the fun part, figuring out where you want to put some of your flowers. So just get in there and start gluing. Keep in mind that you're going to have this hanging, so how you want the direction of your flowers to be will matter depending on where it's going to be placed, and at what angle. If you'd like to add any little leaves in or anything, you can do that. Last little thing I'm going to add in, I think, is my bunny. And I'm going to put the bunny in, not sure where. He's kind of hopping along. We're going to figure out where to put him. And then I'm going to find myself some ribbon. There's plenty of great ribbon, and I'm going to add a little bow on there. So I went through my stash and I found this really cute little checked kind of pinkish ribbon, corally pink, which looks great with these. So I'm just going to create a simple little bow by making 2 little loops. And I'm just going to glue that to make 1 loop, and I'll make 1 more a little bit smaller than that, and stack 1 on top of the other, and then you're going to take 1 more piece, just enough long enough piece that it goes around. There's so many ways to make bows, but this is just one. And I'm gonna just glue this down, wrap it around. This is gonna be that little center part that kind of holds it all together. And I'm gonna add a little glue under there so it doesn't slide around. So I'm just gonna glue my bow in place and you're pretty much all set. The little hook is on the back, it's ready to hang. If you don't wanna hang it from that hook, another option would be to take some of your ribbon and pass it through and create a little hanger like this, and then maybe attach your bow to that. And that would be really cute too. And I actually decided to pull that bow off and to do this because it was looking really cute this way. So I passed it through my loop. Now I'm just gluing these ends together. And I'm gonna add my bow right there. I just think that's the cutest option, or you can add your bow at the top, but I'm gonna add my bow right down here at the bottom. So,
wanna follow me on social media? I've got a Pinterest and an Instagram, both are EP Midnight Crafter, and you can join our Facebook group, Midnight Crafter Glue Dots, if you wanna share some of the cool stuff you're working on. Don't forget to enter to win for the cute little bling owl keychain drawing that I do the first of every month along with a live chat.
And there you have your cute little spring slash Easter slash summer, well, maybe not summer, but spring slash Easter, spring slash Easter DIY.